Hi, everyone. This is Carmine Didisco from Inventors Launchpad Network. I am broadcasting live from the Hardware Show in Las Vegas, Nevada, the place where everything happens. No one knows about it. But we have some cool products here at the Hardware Show. We got some awesome stuff going on. I'm sitting here with the gentleman that won the Most Innovative Award. It's a cool product. We started talking about it before we even recorded. And it's so ingenious that I forgot. Let's turn on the damn cameras, right? I mean, let's get it going. So I'm here with Mark Wolf. He is from Fireside Industries. We're going to talk about his pop-up pit. It's pretty cool stuff. Hey, Mark, what's going on, my man?
Oh, but not too much. Just, wrapping things up here at the last day. So,
yeah, I've been, and with most of the booths, they're always packed. Always. I've been trying to come over to you to grab you to come over and do a quick talk about your product. I mean, most innovative, but what strikes me is it's a fire pit, right? I mean, what the heck is most innovative about? But then when you started telling me about it, it's pretty awesome stuff, right?
yeah, it really is, actually. It really took some time to even uncover that this was a real need or a real product. I mean, that's, if it really wasn't for us inventing another product and getting into the Boy Scouts, the Boy Scouts were the one kind of tipped us off saying, hey, there's new regulations coming that the Forest Service and the BLM, they're not allowing us to dig fire pits in the ground anymore. And
that's weird, right?
Yeah. Well, if you think about it from an environmental standpoint, they're really not only is it the fire hazard, it's also really they're trash pits. People are just throw their aluminum cans and somehow they think the aluminum goes somewhere with no one picking it up. So, and that alerted us to the problem. And basically, they asked for and gave us the recommendations and requirements for this fire pan, and it sits up off the ground. It's a leave no trace. And they said it had to be less than 20 pounds. Ours is less than 8 pounds.
Oh.
And it assembles. Then the only requirement is a 10-year-old boy had to assemble it without tools by himself.
Oh, that's it.
Right. And so, and it also had to last, obviously, it also had to be leave no trace. And also, so what we ended up coming out with is the real invention is the mesh that this fire pan sits on. So the floor of the fire pan or the fire pit is a very special stainless alloy.
Oh.
And it allows tremendous airflow up and through.
Cool.
And so with that really innovated and allowed us to create a design that most engineers wouldn't consider. We're actually using aluminum, which, as everyone knows, aluminum cans melt in a fire.
Yeah.
And aluminum melts when you get an ambient temperature of around 1280 or 1280 degrees. And but with airflow, that mesh is sucking in so much fire. So very interesting, Carmine. If we didn't have a fire and we had, for instance, lava, our fire pit would melt. The fire dynamics alone are what's sucking in the airflow, which is actually keeping the aluminum from melting.
The fire's keeping it cool.
That's exactly right. And when you start, and then when I was explaining it to the UIA, the judges, and saying, I'm using the elements of what their natural states are to actually design and engineer around, they said, wow, this is something pretty special. This isn't just an ordinary fire pit. So
yeah. Well, what was funny about it is when I walk by, it's in this little bag.
Right.
I mean, you're like, that's a fire pit, right?
Yeah.
I mean, is that something that you were like, it had to be that portable?
Yeah, no, it didn't have to be that portable. But again, I always consider, the 10-year-old a Boy Scout.
True.
I was a Boy Scout, and, I was trying to make it easy for them to carry as a troop. We had to make it large enough so that 10 or 15 boys could sit around. So it's actually still full size.
So cool.
And, but yeah, that was one of the considerations. And it's funny you mentioned that. That's actually somewhat now launching this product has been a little bit of a hindrance for us. A lot of people don't realize that that's a full-size fire pit in that little bag.
That's what I said.
Yeah. So we're working on that, actually. and this show has helped get a lot of, we've just had tremendous traffic and a lot of good input from a lot of good inventors. And it helped us with some marketing ideas to help kind of maybe get around that and educate the public a little more. So.
Well, it seemed like the product progressed so quickly. So, obviously you're always going to have versions.
Right.
But the sheer magnitude of how it's growing is really so cool, right? It must be wild to go through this experience.
It really is, especially, I've been engineering and manufacturing for 25 years.
Oh, wow.
And so I've engineered thousands of products. And most of the time, you end up with about a B- product. You always can make a perfect one-off, but then you got to go to production and you got to go through costing and then material usage, and you got to go through all these things. So you have to kind of dumb your product down a little bit to try to make it work. This particular one was only one of 3 products that actually went the other way. I was able to use better materials.
That's great.
And really engineer it to make it better as far as faster for production. And and so it was really an interesting thing. So, and you mentioned it taking off. We're getting groups of people that we never actually anticipated that would even be interested. I mean,
different markets.
Right, because if you think about it, we could have a 2,000-degree fire on a plastic table, and it would never even get warm.
Don't do this at home, folks.
Actually, go out.
Try it. That's so cool.
Like, for instance, groups of people, ice fishermen, won't melt the ice.
There you go.
Anyone going to a lake, they actually can put half the fire pit in the water and have light, an ambient scent of light. The beach people, anyone on a beach now, you can't, on most beaches in the U.S., you can't have a fire in the beach. They don't want the embers, but you can have one over the beach that doesn't leave any trace.
That's awesome.
So now you can have a cool little cookout, cook hot dogs, hamburgers right on your beach day, and now you're all right there and enjoying a fire as the sun sets down. So we were just getting lots of different groups that I really never anticipated. So
that's when you know, and you're probably saying, that's when you know you have a good idea, when people are starting to use it in different usages, I guess.
Correct.
Than it was intended.
Yeah.
And that's what a product that is a good idea does.
Yeah. And it's funny because now the manufacturer in me comes out, and all this rapidly expanding as the younger kids are telling me it's going viral. And and when it does that, of course, now I'm always worried with engineering or manufacturing now. You know, am I going to be able to make enough? How is our production line? How is our raw material? So now it's opening up another set of problems, which are good problems, good challenges, but it never ends. You know, it's always something.
Well, do you think that being in the industry somewhat helped to move things along?
Yeah, no question. That, you know, understanding raw materials, understanding the product flows and sourcing, and understanding the engineering and the times. Yeah, of course. That, I mean, I couldn't have done it this fast. Yeah. I really did it in about 16 months.
Wow.
Which is pretty short, because when I started, as I was saying before this, with you or I were chatting, I melted down 16 different types of prototypes. My original idea was actually like a playpen. Like a kid's playpen, but with steel sides.
Wow.
But the solid floor kept killing me. I mean, and it was bulky. A kid couldn't carry it. Wow. So, yeah.
It's so innovative, though, because you would think, like, you need this big quarter-inch piece of steel and do all these things. It sounds like it's easy to start the fire the way that the air flows.
Boy, you're dead on. That's exactly right. We don't recommend, in fact, we tell people do not use any type of accelerants at all. Yeah. Simple paper, and because of all that airflow, what happens is the fire itself is feeding itself. And so you don't have to sit there and blow on it and try to get it going. It's actually sucking in the exact amount of oxygen it needs, which is why it produces 80% less smoke. Another byproduct I wasn't counting on.
You're like, I knew all this.
Right. I wish I could take credit for all of it. You know, obviously those are those happy accidents that you look and go, wow, that's pretty remarkable. And then that's when we knew, when we were doing all of our testing and all of our design, because obviously for the Boy Scouts, we had to thoroughly test this and actually have recorded testing, and with the Forest Service and everything. And fire after fire after fire, it just was performing so well. It was something special. And that's really where it gives you, as an inventor, goosebumps when you know, wow, I think I really nailed it on this one. I think I really did some things that are really going to set this apart. So.
Yeah. You know, as someone like myself, I shy away from camping because I'm always the guy that everyone's standing around because I can't get the fire started. Everybody's pissed off at me. They're yelling at me. What's going on? But something like this, I could see, even like, you know, you rent an RV or you have an RV, you pack it up, and I mean, everyone's always sitting around an RV outside. They got a fire going, and something like this it's going.
Carmine, you're going to look like Smokey the Bear starting fires with this thing. Everyone's going to say, well, you've been doing this your whole life. It really is so simple. And honestly, I go back to that 10-year-old boy. And it's funny because when you start engineering products to make it that simple, you know you're onto something. Because honestly, let's face it, when you're out and not everybody camps. But I tell you what, most people, 95% of people like a good fire. And if you like to enjoy your adult beverage, or you just like sitting there enjoying a night with friends, it's a great experience. The problem is every other product out there right now requires either a big hole in the ground, they're smoky, they're dirty, you got a big cleanup in the next day, and then the rest of your day, let's say if it's in your backyard, the rest of the year you're looking at this rusting old fire pit in your backyard that you use, 10 times a year?
Yeah.
Right? That doesn't make sense. This you can put away, pack away, it never rusts.
Wow.
It's the only fire pit that doesn't rust.
Yeah.
And again, I was able to use those materials because the fire is keeping that aluminum from getting to its melting point.
It's awesome. So now, and this is a product that's out there on the market for sale already?
Yeah, so we launched it. The Boy Scouts started using it about a year ago. So we
give
it to them first.
And a test market.
Yeah. Well, we built it for them, and then they were clamoring for it because they have their hikes and and I that's an organization. And even in recent times where they've had some controversy, I really appreciate what
Great
they're doing.
Organization.
And they really are. And honestly, the training, that integrity, and to have that for all of our young boys and girls.
I agree.
And I think it's fantastic. So we wanted to get it out to them first. I held off to launch it retail until the patents were through. And that's just, again, experience.
Yeah.
Doing it so many years, don't jump the gun. And I don't even like patent pendings. I really want allowance of patents before I launch retail. So we just launched this retail about 8 months ago. And so, and this was really one of our first show launches at this show right here.
Okay.
So yeah, this was a good one for us.
Yeah, and I mean, it's getting obviously great reviews and really cool stuff. Now, any idea, and you don't have to tell it, any idea retail where it's going to be, or is it going to be online for sale? Or
Yeah. So right now we're selling it on Amazon off our website. We've got actually Camping World just picked us up. REI picked us up.
That's huge.
With LLB. Yeah, I mean, it's funny because once they see it and they get it, and what I love, those stores are great. And talking of course with the Home Depots and the Lowe's, wonderful. But for me as an inventor to see the 5-star reviews, every single one on Amazon,
that's fun.
Okay, that's what gives me again those chills to say, you know what, this product is making people happy. It's serving a need, and it's needed. And most people don't even realize it's a need. But those 5 stars and the amount of effort those people took to give those reviews, I mean, pictures and videos. I mean, I don't do that.
Yeah, that's cool.
You know what I mean? So I just thought that was fantastic.
Yeah, and one of the best parts about it, like with me, I love making money. And obviously you have a lot invested, a lot of time, and the money comes out. But it's great to know that you have a good product that's being used. You don't have to make a lot of revisions, things, and you'll have other additions. Yeah, but it's nice to have a product that's out there being used.
Yeah, no, and Carmine, again, experience. I learned long ago, when you stop worrying about money. And you start worrying, you focus your energy on product and design and innovation, and really give and solve problems. That money always comes later. It's always there. You just can't focus on it because then you're so crazy. Your product seems to suffer. Your marketing will suffer, or some area will suffer if you're just focused on that return on investment. So,
no, I agree. And the saying is, money runs from desperation.
Yeah, right.
I mean, it really does. You can't just be doing it to make money, even though we love it.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it makes it easy.
But it's nice to have cool products. Yeah. Really, when you sell a product, knowing that it's going to be used the right way, it's a good quality. It's a lot easier. It's a lot more fun.
Yeah, no question.
And of course, the Boy Scouts, being able to test it. What a recommendation.
Yeah, it's a great validation for us because and that's where it's getting viral. That's where it's spreading because it's just the nature of this particular product too, which is a little strange. Typically, you have a fire. You're not sitting by yourself.
Yeah, it's true.
You're sitting with friends.
Talking about
it. Right. And so and then what are they talking about? Wow, this and it's all aluminum in color, so it's a very reflective. So it's a very bright orange, vivid light, and it's coming off from this fire that's burning real clean. And so that is what's happening with the spill that's starting to happen right now, where everyone's like, "Where the heck did you get this?"
Yeah, you're not even doing
pushing the market. It's kind of just going. So. And that was just indicative, or as a result of what this particular product is. Cool. I wish it was this easy on some of the other products I have invented, but
hey, that's how it goes. I mean, any new versions or any other stuff coming out in the future that you can talk about?
Oh, a ton of stuff actually. So it's interesting as a problem solver. It's opened up a whole new avenue of new problems. So the very first thing we created with it, what we have out for sale now, is grill grates. So it turns into a portable grill. So actually you start by grilling. A lot of people do now with charcoal on it. Oh. And then you take your portable grill grates off and add logs and then eat next to your fire.
Starts right up.
It's already burning a charcoal. Then that led, because of all that convection, I actually have another that I'm waiting on our patent to get through that I actually turned it into an outdoor portable oven. Because think about the convection heat rising.
Moves around.
Well, as you control it with a pinwheel vent, I can control temperature. So I just added a temperature gauge, have a pinwheel vent now, and now I've got a convection oven that's portable. Think about this. Most RVs do not have ovens anymore. They're microwaves.
Ah, that's right.
Okay, if you've got an aluminum tin, let's say you've cooked lasagna, roast beef, whatever, and you want to heat it up for your group when you're out camping, you don't have to spend 2 hours trying to cook it. You could pre-make it at home, take it out, set this pit up, and it sets up in 1 minute. 1 minute. So you can set this, get your fire going, get your charcoal going, set it in there and have this oven. So, and then that oven also turns into a smoker. Wow. And then now here's the next challenge. Now I've got hot coals. What about tailgating? NASCAR, right? It's a perfect product for that. What do you do with hot coals? Game time comes. The race is getting ready to start. What do you do with hot coals? No one right now, it's a big problem. You put it in a metal can, but where do you put the metal can? It's super hot. So I've actually invented a bag. It's very similar to the old 1900 carpet bags. Have you ever seen the old time carpet bags? And it's wide opening mouth, opens all the way up. You can literally dump a live fire. I mean, logs, charcoal right into the bag, seal the bag. You can put it in the back seat of your car. It'll never emanate heat. So that's now I'm getting, that's huge. That's another problem. You know what I mean? I'm thinking as you're going through saying, okay, let's talk about the whole process of starting a fire, enjoying a fire, and then cleaning up the fire. Yeah. And so I'm trying to solve and create products for that whole process.
Yeah, covering the whole spectrum, you're giving people the tools to not only have fun, be safe, and be done.
That's exactly it.
I mean, because that's the cleanup is the hard thing too.
And so people shy away from it. So what do they go with propane fire pits, which by the way, we also have a propane attachment as well. But the problem with propane, and even through all of our testing, it's not very warm. Propane only burns at around 1100 degrees. And so it's pretty. But if you're, let's say, in a parking lot in Green Bay tailgating,
it's not warm.
You're not getting warm. I mean, you're still freezing. So, and those guys are pretty tough up there. But sure is nice having a nice radiating fire.
No, I mean, you don't get too many people complaining about a nice fire, sitting around talking. Right. I mean, it's what people think about.
That's exactly right. So that's really what we're trying to do. So we really, I've got about 8 more products in the development chain right now.
I'm scared to ask you what's going on next time. Jeez.
Well, next year we're going to come back. We'll hopefully have a lot of these things. We've already in production on some of these things and waiting on patents on other things. So next year, hopefully we'll come back. We'll show a whole nother level of innovation. And again, trying to take people from lighting the first match to dumping the final dried out ember and where to put it and everything else. So if we can create that whole thing, we now it's a complete solution.
Yeah. Well, we would look forward to hearing an update. I mean, that would it's really cool. And like you said, it's not one of those things that you hear about all the time, but it's filling a need.
Yeah.
And to me, that's what's exciting.
Yeah. It's interesting. We started with the fire. 10,000 years ago, 50,000 years ago, and we've innovated around the fire and moved away from the fire, but no one's actually innovated with the fire.
Yeah.
And it's kind of funny when you think about it. Yeah, it's not a sexy cell phone or it's not the latest laptop, but I tell you what, when you get back to nature and you're sitting around a campfire and you're connecting with your family and your friends, all that electronic stuff can go out the window.
That's right.
It is fantastic just to sit there for an hour or two and just chat it up with your buddies or whatever and just enjoy the night. And I think this fire pit's going to bring that back. I'm really hoping it does.
And it's eliminating the stress of all the things associated.
Correct.
You're making it, let's just have fun.
Yeah, put your cell phones away. Let's connect.
Awesome. Well, Mark, listen, man, I appreciate you stopping in. I mean, Mark Wolf from Fireside Industries. Pop-up pit. Check it out in the stores. I mean, it's going to be in the store soon, I'm sure.
Yeah, it really is. We're getting a lot of interest right now. So, it should be everywhere pretty soon.
All right, Mark. Thank you very much. All right, everybody, you got it. Mark, most innovative product here at the hardware show. Is pretty awesome. Check in, listen in, look for the product. It's really cool. And this is Carmen Disco. We're signing off, and we'll catch you next time on the Inventors Launchpad Network.